Hey everybody, welcome back to the garage. We got another video here. We're going to be priming the oil pump that I put in a little bit ago. And to do that, we're going to be putting oil into this port right here. Now, it's almost directly across from the crankshaft on the block, right next to the end of the block. And it's an Allen plug that looks like this. I used a 5/16 Allen. I'm sure it's metric, but a 5/16 worked. And I just pulled it out. I made sure the hole was clean and that there wasn't any kind of weird stuff going on, any junk sitting in there. But we're going to pump some oil in there, and I'll show you how we do it with an air compressor. So I set my air compressor regulator to about 30 psi. That way we don't over pressurize the engine. 30 is about where it idles, so that's what we're going to use to force the oil into that hole. This is the adapter I used. I got this on Amazon. It's 5/8 barb and 14 millimeter is the thread. I think it's 1.5 or maybe not. I'll see if I can put a link to the description for it. But we're going to screw this into the port. I'm going to put a little tape up here at the upper end. Not at this side. I don't want any tape in the engine. But put a little bit of sealing tape here. Just try to help keep it from leaking. And then screw it in. And then we're going to put a hose clamp on this so it doesn't blow off. I'm going to put this from a garden hose into the upper end. My air hose fits perfect in that. Give me a better seal. I found it easier to take it off the hose. The stiffness of the poly hose was fighting me. Now we're gonna push this on. There we go. And we're gonna run a clamp on it. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to fill it with oil. I'm going to use a small funnel, and then I'm going to remove the funnel and then put compressed air to this and force the oil in until the oil gets to about here, and then I'm going to let off. And I'm going to do that for at least a quart. So I've got oil all the way up to the funnel. It's actually taken about a half a quart so far. So it's no doubt it's filled up the oil pump. But I put the bolt in, put the car in neutral, and I'm going to turn the oil pump over. I have the spark plugs in it, but that just means it'll be harder to turn over. I just want to get the oil moving through the oil pump. So I'm probably going to do a full rotation. And I expect to see the level drop in the tube somewhat. I don't want any air to go into the engine from the tube, so I'm going to be keeping my eye on that. I'm going to take off the funnel, put it on my paper towel over there. I'm going to take my gun. You can see it's a little bit too big. And that just pushed the oil all the way down and into the oil pump. There's about this much over at that fitting. So now we're going to put this back in, and we're going to dribble it in so we don't get a big air pocket until it comes up to the top. And we're going to do this over and over until we have, I'd like to put 2 quarts in. I've already got 5 in the oil pan. So there's 5 quarts in the oil pan. And you have to fill the engine with enough oil to cover the pickup tube when you do this. Otherwise, I don't think it's going to work as well. It's just my opinion, but. So that should be enough for what we're doing. There was oil already throughout the engine. So you can see there's a little bit of oil coming up. That's all right. So what we're going to do is we're going to be in a mad rush to plug that hole, because it's going to be dribbling oil out. You could use a 3/8 fuel line and push it in that way, like they show on the Melling commercial. That would work. It'd probably be faster to get this plug out. I don't want to push a bunch in there because I don't want to push it to the point where I blow air into the oil pump. All right, well, if you wanted to know, NOx sensors, torque down to 18 foot-pounds. Just happened to be in that part of the book. Anyway, here's our plug right here. And they show a sealing washer on it. Interesting. I don't have a sealing washer. Maybe I do and I just didn't know it. Okay, so here's the, there's actually two drains. There's one in the back. Like it's for coolant. And the left front oil galley plug. It's 44 foot-pounds. I'm gonna take this, the puppy diaper, and get it up against there. This thing's gonna leak a little bit of oil, and I want this to catch it instead of all over the car. That's good. That blanket caught a ton. There's none back there. There's only a little bit that came out. I didn't get there. I got to about 30 and that was tight enough. I was afraid 44 would hurt something. Use your judgment on that one. Doesn't have to be super tight. Mine didn't have a sealing washer, so I mean it didn't leak the last time I put tape on it, so I think it's good where it's at. It's tight. It's not gonna leak.